games, just, it's been kind of wild swings. Are you used to that kind of thing with your experience?
Yeah, there's ups and downs throughout the game. It's just trying to, when you're kind of on your heels, make that as short as possible. You're not going to be perfect the entire night, so you just got to kind of, when they're pushing hard, you got to make sure you have clean exits from your zone, get the puck deep, and try and swing the momentum back your way.
You didn't play in game one, obviously, and obviously you were ready to step in when you were called. But what was that like? How disappointing was that to not get the start in game one?
Yeah, it's it was disappointing, but at the same time, coming from a team that's already at home right now, it's good to be even in this situation at this point in the season. You got to be ready when you're called on, and I tried to prepare as much as I could, like I was playing game one, and I think it helped me going into game two.
Clearly, the team reacted well in the second period after the first, but I'm curious, what was your reaction and the team's reaction when you saw that it wasn't Igor leading out on the ice for the second period, that their goalie changed? What do you think when something like that happens?
You got to be better. Anytime your goalie gets pulled, it's on the team in front of them to be better. Create chances for them, less chances for them, and spend less time in your D zone. We didn't do a very good job of that in the first, and in the second, I think we responded well, and then a little bit in the third, kind of regressed a bit.
What's the key to slowing down a player like Crosby?
Make him play in his zone. He's at his best when he's coming through the neutral zone with the puck, and if you can get on top of him, slow him down. But you kind of saw how special he was last night. Late in the game, he's just kind of skating around behind the net and can't get the puck from him. So we gotta end his plays a little bit earlier.
The lack of the 60-minute effort has kind of been the through line through the first three games, but how difficult is it to sustain that high-octane playoff hockey style through all three periods?
Yeah, like I said, you're not going to be perfect all night, and there are going to be, ebbs and flows of the game where, you're playing well or they're playing well. You just want to keep those times when you're not playing well as short as possible, and if they are making their push, you got to, keep them the outside, not get too stressed out about it if they're getting a lot of zone time. You just got to keep them to the outside and, wait for your chance to get it out.
In your short time here, what have you seen from Igor that, about what leads you to expect something tomorrow?
Yeah, I've seen that he's, a true pro. He's a young kid that he gets it. He'll be dialed for tomorrow. These things happen in playoffs throughout the season where, it might just not be your night, and he'll be dialed in tomorrow.
Since you've been here, you've been playing the left side a lot, obviously. How are you adjusting to that? How is that part going? Are you figuring out things you can do or things you can't do over there?
Yeah, it's even when you're playing the right, you end up on the left side quite a bit in the D zone, and you just kind of got to make those reads. I think more in the neutral zone and O zone, you don't have the up down one timer in the O zone. You got to kind of catch and walk, which is a little different than what I was used to. But playing with Foxy the last couple games makes it easy. Give him the puck, and you can see what he can do.
Yeah, I was going to ask about Fox. Like, what's it been like playing with Fox? What kind of dynamic do you feel like you two have together?
It's been relatively good so far. He's a special player, and I just try and make sure I'm open for him when he needs me. But you watch him and Brad in the O zone sometimes. Sometimes I'm just get to be a spectator for that magic out there. So it was fun to watch a couple of their plays last night.
How do you evaluate the overall defensive effort from the team? Because you look at last night, you guys score 4 goals, but you still get beat. There's been obviously some high shot totals. Coaches talk about the scoring chances. Like, where do you feel like you guys are at from a defensive standpoint?
Yeah, that's kind of tough because last night I felt like the first one was kind of unfortunate, and then I thought we did a good job on both the kills that they end up scoring on late. So they had the first period the score was a lot worse than I thought we were actually playing. But yeah, you got to keep the shot totals down. But they are a high shot volume team, so you can't look at that sometimes. If they just throw a lot of pucks in that really aren't dangerous or anything, that they're just trying to create scrambles and they're one and done and you clear them out. So, you can't look into that too much.
And do you feel like you guys, Molly's asking about the Crosby line before, it seems like each game they've had a little bit less, like, do you feel like you guys are improving against them? Are you adjusting in any way to them?
I think guys are just more aware now when they're, they've done so much damage on us that when they're out there, you got to, make the 100% play. You can't go lateral when they're out there because they're going to turn that into offense. You got to make them spend as much time, waste as much energy in the D zone as you can. They are going to get their chances, but you just kind of minimize it as much as you can.
You obviously have the most playoff games out of the entire team. What do you remember about your first career playoff games and just getting used to the different style and the shock of it, if there was any?
Yeah, it was my first one was against LA, and it was stressful. Like a guy got hurt, and I got in for my only game in that playoff run, but it was just a blur. The game was fast, the hitting was a lot. You had to. Every play was important, and there's that extra stress of not letting your teammates down, not letting just the guys on the ice down. It's just that kind of heightens, but I think guys get a couple more games and you kind of settle in.
Is there an adjustment too for your first road playoff game?
No, they were all pretty intense. Those early series against LA, we seem to play them every year. So.
Yeah. Justin, how do you share that experience in the postseason with the guys who haven't been there?
Just try and calm them down. They played well all year. There's no reason to get overly stressed because they can play at this level. They're good. Even talking to Schneidzy last night, don't worry about it, man. Just keep going. You're gonna get your chance. You're gonna get a couple goals this series. He's had a couple of great chances that unfortunately gone wide, but you just gotta take a breath and not get too stressed out by the loud crowd and the intensity of everything. You just got to go out there and make the plays you got to make.
What have been your impressions of Schneider?
Just awesome player. He's got a bright future. Strong, skates well, shoots the puck really well. He's been very impressive. I didn't know much about him coming in, and he's a very impressive kid.
The whole group of the young guys, Schneider, Miller, some of the young forwards, like, what have you made of how they've handled the playoffs so far?
Really good. I think playing the full 82 game season this year got them ready for this situation. If you have a shorter year, maybe it's you're not as settled in, but they've played all the best teams already all year. They've had success against them. Now you just got to put it together in the playoffs.